Alex, my mom once said that when you find someone you love, you should marry your best friend. And I've truly found that in you. You make me so happy. I feel so fortunate that we met. So, with all that, I promise, with all my effort, I'll provide for you for the rest of our lives. I promise to support you in any goal or dream you have. I promise whenever we go to rent movies, if we ever rent a scary movie, we'll always rent a happy movie afterwards. I vow I will try to clear the microwave of seconds every time I'm done with it from now on. And I promise to love and cherish you for the rest of my life, because you are my best friend.
Kellen, I am so happy we are finally at this point, that we somehow survived planning and so many things going awry. When we've talked in the past, we both felt like we've known each other for so long, but I wanted to thank you, much like a certain group of guys said, for taking the time to really discover how little we know about each other. Thank you for being as patient as you got to see every side and layer of me. Thank you for being patient enough to wait for me. So I want to promise you the same. I promise to always try to be as patient as you were with me. I will strive to be slow to anger and quick to apologize. And while I know you may not always need it, I vow to always protect you from the world around us and even occasionally myself. I will stand up for you when I am with you and defend you when I am not. I will treat your heart with the love and kindness you deserve. That being said, I also promise to not get mad when I find your socks strewn about the house or in places that don't make any sense. And while I can't promise that I will never tickle you, I promise that I will respect your boundaries and stop when you ask me to. Kellen, most importantly, I vow to grow with you. I will continue to mature into the woman you deserve and know that I can be. I will celebrate all of our victories and support and work through any of our failures because I know that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Oh no. Running on the assumption that I'm not a sobbing mess. I'm so excited that we are getting married. And I'm so excited to be marrying you. I love you, my sweet, sweet sunshine.
It is my pleasure that I pronounce you husband and wife. Kellen, you may now kiss your bride.
I love you.
Congratulations, Kellen. My condolences, Alex. I've known Kellen for about 20 years, and in that time, you learn a lot of things about a person, which I was told I'm not allowed to share. And since he knows 20 years worth of my dirt, I think I'm going to honor that. But honestly, Kellen is one of the kindest, most sincere, and honest people I know. He's also one of the most unique people I know, and that combination, you always wonder who somebody like that's going to end up with, and you worry sometimes that somebody's going to take advantage of his kindness. And when I met Alex, I have to say she was perfect for him. Like, it was absolutely amazing how great these two are together. She's also very kind, at least from what I know. she also can indulge in his unique side, and I think that they are absolutely perfect together. So congratulations, you two.
So I should probably say that Alex has been my best friend since like 7th grade, but it's not true. Because when we first met, I hated her. Like, I hated her. And it was for no other reason except that she was new to the neighborhood, and I was afraid that she was going to steal my best friend. So, with all the contempt a 12-year-old girl could have, I didn't like you. But of all the friendships I had in high school, I am so glad that ours endured the test of time. God, it's really scary. So, I do have a story. So Alex and I were in quite a few English classes, actually, I think. But more specifically, this was Ms. Shore's 10th grade, 11th grade, English high school class. And so, of course, we would talk a lot, and we always got in trouble. And so Ms. Shore thought it would be a good idea to separate us on opposite ends of the room, thinking that that would stop us from talking to each other. And it didn't work. So pretty much all that meant is that we would yell at each other from across the room. And she didn't like that, but, excuse me. But we had a unit on Romeo and Juliet. And so one of the things we had to do in this unit was we had to make a eulogy for one of the characters, Mercutio, who dies. And so, we're high schoolers, so we're going through it, having this funeral kind of thing for the guy, He was a great guy, a loyal friend, all this stuff. And all of a sudden, you kind of hear some giggles, and you hear, "Alex, are you crying?" And we all just turn to the back of the room, and Alex is crying. And it was really funny, and we teased her about it and all this stuff. But really, when you look back at it, it was really just another example of Alex's capacity to love and care about other people. Throughout all of high school, Alex was always that friend that I could call whenever I needed her. She was always really great about making you feel good about yourself, when we had boy problems, because we had a lot of boy problems because it was high school. But Alex was always the one to build you back up, and she would always offer to hold him while you punched him, which was probably the best part of that whole thing. But yeah, she was always there. We had a lot of really late nights driving in her car, blasting music, getting into all sorts of trouble. So that's why I am so happy that you found someone who cares about you and loves you just as much as you care and love about other people. Kellen, I haven't known you for very long, but I don't need to know that you love Alex and you care about her and you're gonna put her first. And feelings. Okay, so okay, we're good. There's no tears. So I'm just so happy that you guys have found each other and you guys are partners in crime now as you go on all these adventures, and just know that we love you and we care about you guys a lot. So to the bride and groom.
I'm Katie. I'm Kellen's sister. I was the ugly crier during the wedding. Try not to cry now, but I already feel like I'm going to, so I'm just going to warn everybody. It's going to be rough to get through this. Well, I've known Kellen probably the longest in this room, aside from my dad. And I promised him I have a lot of good dirt, a lot of good stories, embarrassing stories, but I promised him I wouldn't share them, so I'm going to stick with that. I'll share those another time, maybe at like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas or something. But as many of you know, Kellen and I lost our mom pretty young. And one of the things that she wanted so bad was to see us get married and have kids and live a happy life. And she worried about Kellen, and not because Kellen was bad or because he was awful or whatever, but just because Kellen was unique. And he was stubborn, strong-willed, said what he thought, and at the same time, he was sensitive and kind and caring. And she worried that there wasn't going to be somebody that could call him out when he was being a doofus and still love him and care for him the way that he needed to be cared for. And when Kellen told me he started dating Alex, I was like, okay. And I was a little worried that she didn't know what she was getting into. And he brought her over for dinner, and he said something very Kellen-like. And I thought, oh God, Kellen, like you can't say that out loud. And Alex just didn't miss a beat. She looked at him and she was like, you can't say that. You don't say that out loud to people. Like, what are you doing? And I thought, oh my gosh, she knows my brother. And the more I've gotten to know Alex, the more you remind me of my mom. You are funny, you have a good sense of humor, but you understand my brother in a way that nobody else besides my mom did. And you love him in a way that I think nobody else was able to. And so I know if she was here, she would just love you to death. And she would be so, so happy to be here today, and she would be so thrilled that you are joining our family. And she's not the only one. I mean, I am ecstatic that my brother picked you. I mean, my kids love you. My aunts, my dad, everybody just loves you. So welcome to the family.
All right, well, I just found exactly where I dropped a carrot covered in ranch on the side of my dress, or it's more of the front. So can we go easy on the flash so we don't see it in pictures? It would be really ideal. So, guys, this is so exciting because today turned out absolutely beautiful, despite random strangers telling my dear sweet sister to change her date. So I think it turned out exceptionally well. Cheers to that. Okay. But some of you may know this. Okay, I'm getting emotional. And it's not even that emotional, what I'm trying to say. So let's just go. Okay, so from infancy, we've had a pretty interesting relationship. I think it started out really great. We've loved each other, and then it slowly transformed through growing up to hating each other, to beating each other, to probably screaming and being mean, really mean. I'm sorry about that. So, but for the past 7 or 8 years, ever since she left to go off to school, we've been closer than ever. Closer than ever is what I'm really trying to say. And so I'm so glad that I have you in my life. No, I wanted your napkin. Thank you. I'm glad I have you in my life as a non-abusive relationship. So, I'm going to make this short and sweet. Kellen, I'm so grateful that you're in my family. You're perfect for my sister, and I've never seen her as, oh my gosh. Man, when I went through this, I was reading through it, I'm like, this is easy, I got it. And then everyone started getting all teary-eyed. Oh my gosh, okay, so, woo! Apparently it's my turn. Well, okay, let me try to suck them back into my face. We're so grateful that you're in our family. She's never been happier, and it's so good to see you both starting your life together officially as husband and wife. And so we love you, and we're so proud of you. So to Alex and Kellen, cheers. Can I?
Since I'm Kellen's father, I've known him the longest. And so he first asked me to give a toast, and about a day ago he asked me to give a speech. So I don't know what that exactly meant, but I've heard we have an ancestry of some preachers and they would go on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So if I get too long, just give me a signal and go from that. Oh, okay, all right, this side already knows. So I crossed all that stuff out and decided I needed to think of the one thing that got him here today. And so I thought of what was that over 32 years that would get him here today that would be important. And there's one thing in his life that probably said and done his best to meet this wonderful, beautiful daughter-in-law I have now, Alex. He was about 5. And his real good friend over here, Kevin, already had his Game Boy. And he would argue with his mom back and forth. He needed a Game Boy. And if you have ever had a conversation or an argument with Kellen about things, it never goes away. So finally, he convinced her if he could save the money at 5 to buy a Game Boy, he could have one. And so a year and a half, about a year, 14 months later, he had saved the money. A problem with mom. Didn't want him to have a Game Boy because too much time spent. But in the end, he got this Game Boy. And then, as a family, we had to learn how to play Fortress of Fear. Every level. Finally, what was it, 27 levels, something like that? Yeah. I was able to get past 12, I don't think. But Katie and his mom was helping him through there. And so why would I bring up Game Boy? Well, you know what? He's played games all his life. And then it was this casual mention about 3 years ago. He was playing games with a friend named Alex. Now, I think his sister and him conspired not to tell me that Alex was a girl. Okay? And I really don't know why. I don't know what I would have done one way or the other. But if he hadn't got that Game Boy, I don't believe he'd have met this wonderful, beautiful daughter-in-law, Alex, because they'd have never have played a game. And what I remember hearing, that she was a pretty good gamer. I actually could beat him in a few of the games, maybe more of the games. Now, I would say as a dad, he probably let her win from that. And I think it also shows the strength of going after what you want. That's the one part he did for the Game Boy, and the part I saw when he went for Alex. He said, I wanted her. I'm going to do everything I could do to get her. And he did. And I want to give our family blessing on this marriage, that you're a part of our family, and we're blessed to have you. And would you give us a toast with that? Thank you.
Okay, mine's going to be short and sweet, because it's going to need to be short and sweet. This year's been, it's already going sweet and short. It's been a long year already. Got 2 daughters now married. We ain't going to make it through this one. So let me just say just a toast for y'all. So everybody grab your glasses. May God bless your home. May you look out for each other. May you take care of each other. Cheers.